All right. Okay, I think it started. Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion on the social dilemma. This documentary examines how social media companies design their platforms to capture our attention, influence our behavior, and shape the way we view the world as a whole. Yeah. It highlights issues such as addiction, mental health, misinformation, and the power of algorithms in shaping our own daily decisions. So, in this panel, our group from Vanguard University will be discussing our own reactions to the film and our personal experiences with social media and what we believe needs to be changed moving forward. So, my name is Shrey Chatragata. I'll be the moderator for today. Joining me here is Ryan Williams and Henry Garcia. And yeah, we're excited to share our perspectives and insights. Let's begin now. Here, so question one, what is your favorite moments or quote from the social dilemma and why? Ryan, if you want to get us started, that'd be good.
Yeah, so my favorite quote was, "If you're not paying for the product, you are the product." I really think that this shows like how the viewers are monetized, right? We don't pay for our social media, but the companies are using you for their own monetization. And it also shows that free platforms come at a cost, right? Nothing's really free. They are using you for some things. If it was really free, then they wouldn't make it, right? There wouldn't be any benefit in it for them. And it kind of clearly summarizes the core message of the film, which is like kind of highlights the bad parts of social media and what all they're doing with our data and all different kinds of things on social media.
All right, thank you, Henry.
I actually had the same quote actually, because it for me it captures the entire purpose of the documentary, and the moment exposes how social media companies profit by harvesting users' attention and personal data instead of charging money. And it stands out just because it shifts the viewer's perspective and making it impossible to see social media as harmless once its true business model is revealed.
Right. Okay. So adding on what do you guys have to say, obviously, your guys' quote was, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Yeah. So going off of that, I guess you guys both made me think how much of my online behavior itself is being tracked and monetized for one. And I guess it shows how like what innocent scrolling, as we call it, actually fuels like a lot of data-driven advertising systems. They take so much data off of us and use it to their advantage in order to get monetization, even if it's so-called marketed as free. And yeah, it definitely made me question my own control over my personal attention and choices. Yeah. All right. We'll be moving on to question two. Which social media apps do you guys use the most and why? Yeah, Ryan,
Uh,
if you want to get us started, yeah.
yeah, I'd love to. The social media apps that I use the most are Instagram for one. I think that's probably up there. I like to see what people are doing. I like to connect with friends. I post some myself, kind of just showing people what I'm up to. I use it a lot more with to see my friends and kind of people I'm close with, I think. I also use Snapchat a fair amount, and that's mostly just for messaging, right? I use it like with group chats or just one-on-one messaging to just kind of talk to people. I use it almost like texting. I don't necessarily send a lot of pictures, but I kind of will just message my friends on there, and mostly people I know, not really people that I don't know outside of real life. And then the last one would be TikTok. I use this one by far the most, I think, and I like to kind of just consume all kinds of content, right? Like I like watching funny content and things like that, and that's mostly not really people that I know. It's just kind of what other people put out there. I like watching some of that. I spend the most time on TikTok for sure.
All right, for sure. Thank you, Henry.
For me, I don't really use like that much social media, but I would say like TikTok, I guess, but that would just be to like entertain myself or like just to like learn new things to like new things in the gym or like drills for the soccer. But I also use I mean I would say I'd use messages. I don't know if that counts as social media, but messages to like just communicate with friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. To add on to my own perspective, I mainly agree with Ryan. I'm pretty addicted to some social media. Again, it's mainly Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. It's my main social outlet because obviously they're the fastest, like pretty effortless ways to stay like connected into what my friends are doing. And I guess in terms of short form content, like the algorithms on Instagram and TikTok, they basically know what holds my attention really well. And I mean, they push out that content and it keeps me scrolling for far longer than I ever planned to, which obviously is a distraction. And I guess these short form formats are like engineered to be addictive inherently. And I don't know, I let myself fall into that trap more than I'd like to admit. I guess Snapchat specifically, it adds like another layer of addiction. It's constant streaks, quick snaps, notifications itself, like they all collectively make it feel really addictive whenever I'm bored, stressed, or looking for any quick distraction. I don't know, all these apps like tie in together. And I don't know, sometimes without even realizing I'm like too deep into scrolling. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. But we'll go to question three now. Would you say social media has done more good or harm in your life so far? Ryan, you start. Yeah.
I would probably say that social media probably has done more harm. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily done me a ton of harm, but I do think that it really hasn't done much good for me. Like, I like staying connected with friends, but I feel like there are other ways to do that just by texting, things like that. And I think I spend too much time on there. Like, I think spend around 3 hours a day on social media, and there's just more productive things I could be doing if I wanted to like still stay connected with friends. I could use that to have a phone call or just go out and meet them in real life and have some conversations like that. So I think probably harm would be my answer.
Okay. All right. Great. Henry?
For me, I feel like it could go either way, but I mean, I guess I would say kind of more good because you could just be st yeah, it's good to like stay connected with family, especially like if you have family that are like not from like here, and like it just makes it easier to keep in touch. It also gives you like access to information and just provides you like updates on the news or like whatever you want to like know about. And maybe even like opportunities like for like jobs or like learning new skills. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. From my own perspective, I'd definitely say like social media has had a pretty mixed impact on me, but I'd, lean it towards the negative side more. I mean, like the constant stream of like other people's highlights, it makes comparison itself pretty avoidable. You're always comparing yourself to someone who's doing something. And I guess it both chips away at confidence and ability to stay focused on my own goals personally. But yeah, I've lost a lot of chunks of time to like mindless scrolling, hours I should have spent studying, obviously, actually engaging with people instead of, superficially doing it on social media or just being present in my own life. And like at the same time, these apps do keep me, socially connected. Like they make it easier to stay in the loop altogether with friends and maintain relationships I otherwise might have drifted from if I don't see a person like every day. So, I mean, the overall effect ends up being pretty complicated. It's helpful in some ways, but I don't know. To me, it's a major source of distraction and like self-doubt itself. But yeah, that's what I think of it. All right, now question four. Knowing platforms are engineered to keep you scrolling, do you feel manipulated or not? How and like how has this affected your sleep, your productivity, or the schoolwork itself? Ryan, we'll start with you.
I don't think that I necessarily feel manipulated. I think I had an idea, right? Like everybody talks about the algorithm. I knew that that was a part of it, and I frankly I wouldn't spend nearly as much time if that wasn't a part of it. So I knew that that's kind of how they keep you on it. I don't think manipulated is the right word, but I also don't think that it's good for me. I do think that there will be nights where I spend way too much time scrolling, where maybe I have a busy morning the next morning, or maybe I'm going to play a sport or something, and I'm less. Uh, I feel worse because of the night that I spent scrolling. I've also spent like time where I should be studying, and then I do worse on tests. So I definitely think like the algorithm will kind of get me into trouble where I spend too much time focusing on something like that. But I wouldn't say that I necessarily feel manipulated just because I knew what was going on. I still consume the content, and I guess that's probably because the algorithm is so strong and knows exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, true. All right, Henry.
I would say I often would feel manipulated because the platforms are designed to keep me scrolling, and sometimes I do catch myself like with scrolling too much longer. And my sleep has been affected lately, and then that's why I like recently I've been like trying to limit myself, so that's why I don't really go on social media as much anymore. And I feel like that my productivity did drop, and I'd be like distracted, and which also why is another reason why I just limited myself from social media.
All right, great. From my own perspective, I guess, yeah, these platforms aren't obviously just distracting by accident. Like they're engineered exactly the way like the social dilemma itself describes, and it's just to exploit human psychology and keep users hooked for as long as possible, really. And I don't know, to some extent, I do feel manipulated. I do feel that design working on me like pretty much like constantly. I've definitely stayed up more nights than I'd like to admit before tests, like even like on an endless scroll because it's just the algorithm knows how to keep feeding me content that like triggers the same reward, I guess, that loops exactly what the film talks about. And I guess the nonstop notifications plus like the fear of missing out, it mirrors the documentary's point about social pressure and how it's being weaponized for engagement in social media. And I see that in like how easily my attention gets derailed while studying. Like I'll be studying for one of my classes and instantly get a notification and I'm off studying for like another 30 minutes. And yeah, even when I'm focused, I do like instinctively check my phone, like a reflex almost, not because I want to, but just because I just do. Yeah. And all of this adds up to like a drop in productivity, obviously. And it's like the fragmented attention that's described in the social dilemma. So I would say to some extent it is manipulation. Yeah. All right. Now, question five. Do you think social media responsibility lies more with the users or the actual tech companies that do the operating? Ryan, we'll start with you.
I think it's a lot to do with the tech companies, to be honest. I think they hold most of the responsibility because they are the ones that design the algorithms, they create the incentives and persuasive features. And the users, they don't have an option to opt out of manipulative design. There's not a way for us to kind of get rid of that. For everybody, it's going to have that manipulative design, and the companies intentionally create addictive systems. So while I do think there are parts that people can use, or they parts they play in their own, they have their own responsibility regarding social media. I think the companies hold a lot of the responsibility because of the way that they intentionally created these algorithms to hold you and make it addictive for people. So it kind of holds everybody almost captive on their sites all the time. So I would argue that the tech companies hold a lot of the responsibility, but we do have a part.
Yeah. All right. Henry, you?
Yeah, I would say that responsibility is shared, but it more lies with the tech companies. Like what Ryan said, they're the ones that are designing the algorithms and deciding what gets promoted and creating features like that encourage addictive use. And the users also have some responsibility just because we're the ones like using the apps and setting our own limits and just seeing what we like engage with. But overall, yeah, the tech companies hold greater power.
Yeah. I do agree with what you both said. Obviously, like the users do have some extent of control. Like we can, set our own screen times and such. But I mean, I guess ideally, the tech companies don't want that. They want you to get hooked to the content. So I think the majority of the responsibility does fall on the tech companies and not the users, obviously. And I don't know, the social dilemma itself, it makes it clear that these platforms aren't like neutral tools. They're literally engineered like to by like they've been described by behavioral scientists and designers whose entire job is to just keep us hooked. So expecting individual people to like just use the social media responsibly is, I don't know, I think it's unrealistic when they're up against billion-dollar algorithms basically, which is optimized to outsmart like our own self-control. And I guess these companies intentionally build addictive features. They exploit cognitive biases, prioritize engagement over well-being, because that's just what maximizes profit, and that's completely fair on their end. But if they created the system, they're the ones who also need to redesign it. So, yeah, ethical and healthier design isn't really optional on their ends. It's kind of their responsibility because users never really inherently stood a fair chance against the machinery itself running like to keep you addicted. That's what I think of
Mhm.
it. All right, now last question. If you had to rate the social dilemma out of 5 stars, what would you rate it and why?
Um, I would I would give it 5 stars, to be honest. I think it's really important for people to watch. I think well, it's not the flashiest film, right? It's not something that like might keep you hooked, or it's not going to be your favorite movie, right? But I think it raises awareness, and it's just like an important thing for people to watch. I think there's so much that people do not know about social media, and for this film to kind of highlight some of those important things that are good for us, it would be important for a lot of people to watch. It helps people think about online addiction. It encourages healthier digital habits. And I think it's relevant for anyone that uses social media. So I would highly recommend it. And it was a great film to watch and just so like insightful and lots of information for people. So yeah, I think I would rate it 5 stars.
All right, Henry, you?
Yeah, I would rate it I would say 4 out of 5. It like explains how social media can manipulate people and like affect their mental health. The film is interesting and I would say it's easy to understand, but some of the parts feel a little over dramatic. But yeah, I would say overall it's great.
Yeah. All right. Personally, I believed in the compromise. I'd rate the documentary like a 4.5 out of 5. Because to be fair, it does like break down pretty complex issues like algorithm manipulation, behavioral engineering in a way that like feels accessible and relatable instead of just overwhelming us with all this information. And I guess the scenes that showed a user being controlled like by the algorithm personas, it made the message hit harder to me by visualizing what exactly happens behind the screen. And I guess the only thing that kept it from being a perfect score for me, like a 5 out of 5, is that I wish that the film like pushed further into policy level solutions. Like it exposes the problem really well, obviously. Like I'm well aware of what the issues are now, but it kind of gives like it stops short of giving a roadmap as to how we can change or make, real resolutions to the problem. So that's why I rated it a 4.5. But yeah, thank you guys very much. Here's my closing remarks. Thank you all for your thoughtful contributions and personal reflections. And I guess the social media or social dilemma shows us that social media isn't just a tool, it's a powerful system that shapes our thoughts, behaviors, and relationships. But understanding how these systems work also give us the power to make healthier digital choices. And as we move forward, it's important to be mindful of how much time we spend online, how it affects our mental and emotional health. I guess even small steps like turning off notifications or limiting screen time can help us take back the control of our own attention and attention span. Yeah. So thank you all. Thank you to all of our speakers for sharing their insights, and thank you for our audience for joining us. We hope this discussion inspires you to reflect on your own relationship with social media and obviously make intentional choices moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.